We've all been there. It's 2 p.m. on a Tuesday, or perhaps it's a slow Sunday evening. You aren't stressed, you aren't sad, and you certainly aren't physically starving. Yet, you find yourself pacing the kitchen, opening the fridge, staring at the shelves, and closing it again, only to return 5 minutes later, hoping something new has appeared. This is boredom hunger, but in the scientific community, we call it a dopamine gap. Boredom is not the absence of things to do. It's the absence of meaningful neurological stimulation. When your brain enters a low stimulation state, your search and seek system, governed by the neurotransmitter dopamine, goes into overdrive. It begins scanning your environment for the easiest, fastest way to get a hit of neurochemical reward. In our modern world, food is the ultimate low-effort, high-reward dopamine trigger. When you are bored, your brain isn't asking for calories, it's asking for a change in state. It wants to feel something different than the gray flat line of boredom. Because the path between feeling bored and eating a cracker is so short and well-traveled, your brain defaults to it automatically. The danger of boredom hunger is that it is unconscious eating. You aren't savoring the food. You aren't even enjoying it. You're simply using the act of chewing and the hit of salt or sugar to wake up your brain. If you don't have a tool to bridge this dopamine gap, you will continue to consume hundreds of accidental calories every week that serve no biological purpose other than to kill 10 minutes of time. Today, I'm going to show you how to close that gap in exactly 3 seconds without touching a single piece of food. The default mode network. To stop boredom eating, you have to understand where it lives in your head. When you are bored, your brain slips into what neuroscientists call the default mode network, DMN. This is the state your brain goes into when you aren't focused on a specific task. It's the daydreaming state. The problem with the DMN is that it is highly self-referential. It's where your inner critic lives, where you worry about the future, and where your cravings are amplified. When you are in the DMN, you are highly susceptible to automatic processing. You aren't making conscious choices, you are following habit loops. If your habit loop says boredom sucks snack, the DMN will execute that command before your conscious mind even realizes what's happening. To stop the craving, we have to force the brain to switch from the default mode network to the task positive network, TPN. The TPN is the part of your brain that handles external focus and physical movement. These two networks work like a seesaw. When one is up, the other is down. You cannot be lost in a craving and focused on a complex physical sensation at the exact same time. Most people try to fight boredom hunger with willpower, but willpower is a function of the prefrontal cortex, which is already tired because you're bored. Instead of trying to think your way out of the craving, we are going to use a neurological interrupt. We are going to provide the brain with a stimulus that is more interesting than a snack, but takes 0 calories to consume. We are going to reroute the electrical signal of the craving into a physical sensation. This is the foundation of the 3-second hack. We aren't telling the brain no, we are telling the brain, look over here instead. The 3-second hack, the Proprioceptive Pop. We are going to practice the 3-second hack right now. This is the mechanical core of the video. The 3-second hack is called the Proprioceptive Pop. Proprioception is your brain's ability to sense the position and movement of your body in space. It requires a massive amount of bandwidth from your nervous system. By flooding the brain with a sudden proprioceptive signal, you pop the bubble of the default mode network. The technique. The next time you are standing in front of the pantry, I want you to do this. Second one, close your eyes tight. Second two, rise up onto your tiptoes as high as you can go, and at the same time, interlace your fingers and push your palms toward the ceiling. Stretch until you feel a tension in your calves and your shoulders. Second 3. Drop your heels to the floor with a thud and exhale sharply through your mouth, letting your arms fall to your sides. Why does this work? In those 3 seconds, you have done 3 things. First, by closing your eyes, you cut off the visual cues of the food. Second, by rising on your toes and stretching, you force your brain to calculate balance and muscle tension. This immediately activates the task-positive network. Third, the thud of your heels hitting the floor sends a vibration through your skeletal system. This provides a sensory hit that satisfies the brain's need for stimulation more effectively than a bland cracker ever could. The "I'm bored" craving is a low-energy signal. The proprioceptive pop is a high-energy interrupt. It resets the nervous system and creates a gap in the habit loop. In that gap, you regained your power to choose. You didn't fight the hunger, you outstimulated it. Supporting the brain. While the 3-second hack works in the moment, we have to look at why your brain is so dopamine starved in the first place. If your brain chemistry is imbalanced, you will find yourself needing to use the pop hack every 5 minutes, which isn't sustainable. Boredom hunger is often a sign of neurotransmitter fatigue. If you are low on serotonin or dopamine, your brain will use food as a form of self-medication. It is trying to fix its own chemistry using the only tools it has, sugar and fat. This is exactly why we've created the 25 Natural Remedies for Weight Loss guide. I didn't want to just give you mental hacks. I wanted to give you the biological raw materials to keep your brain bright so you don't get bored in the first place. For example, in Chapter 4 of the guide, we talk about L-theanine, which is found in specific types of tea. L-theanine helps increase alpha wave activity in the brain. Alpha waves are the state of calm focus. When your brain is in an alpha state, you don't feel that itchy, restless boredom that leads to the pantry. We also look at ginseng and rhodiola, natural adaptogens that help regulate the adrenal system. When your adrenals are supported, your energy levels stay stable, preventing that 2 p.m. slump where boredom eating usually strikes. You can grab the full guide for free at the link in the description. It will give you the physical ingredients to support the mental work we are doing here. Download it now so you can start stabilizing your brain chemistry tomorrow morning. Closing the boredom loop environment. Now that you have the 3-second hack and the biochemical support, we need to look at your external brain, your environment. Boredom hunger thrives in a low-friction environment. If the food is visible, easy to reach, and requires no preparation, your brain will choose it 100% of the time when it's bored. To stop the loop, we need to increase task complexity. If you are bored and want to eat, make a rule: you can only eat things that require at least 5 minutes of preparation. You can't grab a handful of chips, but you can chop up a cucumber, season it with sea salt and lemon, and arrange it on a plate. Why does this work? Because by the time you have finished the task of preparation, your brain has moved from the default mode network to the task-positive network. The boredom has been solved by the act of preparation itself. Half the time, you'll finish making the snack and realize you aren't even interested in eating it anymore because the itch for stimulation has been scratched by the activity. Another environment hack is sensory variation. Sometimes boredom hunger is actually visual boredom or olfactory boredom. Your brain is tired of the same 4 walls. Before you eat, try a sensory pivot. Open a window for a blast of cold air. Use a high-quality essential oil like peppermint or citrus, scents that are known to stimulate the brain's alertness centers. In your 25 Natural Remedies guide, I list several aromatic triggers that actually suppress the appetite by stimulating the olfactory bulb. This is a 3-second hack for your nose. By changing what you smell or what you feel, like the temperature of the room, You provide the brain with the novelty it was looking for in the food. The 3-question filter. If you've done the Proprioceptive Pop, you've checked your remedies and you've changed your environment, but the hunger is still there, we need to use the logical filter. Boredom hunger is a general feeling. Real physical hunger is specific. When you're bored, you want something, anything crunchy, sweet, or salty. When you are truly biologically hungry, your body is looking for nutrients. I want you to ask yourself these 3 questions, and I want you to answer them out loud. There is power in hearing your own voice. It engages the auditory processing centers of the brain, further pulling you out of the craving trance. Would I eat a plain, hard-boiled egg or a head of raw broccoli right now? If the answer is no, you aren't hungry. You're looking for a dopamine hit. Real hunger makes even the most boring, healthy food look like a feast. Where am I feeling this? Is it in your stomach, growling, empty, lightheaded? Or is it in your mouth, the need to crunch, and your chest, restlessness? Boredom is a neck-up sensation. Hunger is a neck-down sensation. What happened 10 minutes ago? Did a task get difficult? Did you finish a project and now have nothing to do? Did you see a commercial identify the trigger? By the time you have answered these 3 questions, you have been in a logical state for at least 30 seconds. This is often enough time for the craving wave to peak and begin to crash. Remember, a craving is like a wave in the ocean. It builds up. It looks like it will last forever, but it always breaks. Your only job is to stay on your somatic surfboard for 30 seconds until the wave passes. From compulsion to conscious command. The goal of this method isn't to live a life of restriction where you never get to eat the things you love. The goal is to live a life of command. When you eat out of boredom, you are a slave to your neurochemistry. You are letting a minor dopamine dip dictate your health, your energy, and your self-image. But when you use the 3-second proprioceptive pop, when you support your biology with natural remedies, and when you use the logical filter, you take the steering wheel back. Imagine what your life looks like 6 months from now when boredom no longer means weight gain. Imagine the mental clarity you'll have when you aren't constantly negotiating with a craving. This is about more than just a number on a scale. It's about the identity shift from someone who struggles with their weight to someone who understands their body. You don't need to be a victim of your biology. You just need the right manual. If you found value in these masterclasses, you are only scratching the surface. Download your 25 natural remedies and start giving your brain the chemical support it needs. I'll see you in the next video where we are going to look at neural repatterning and show you exactly how to erase your sweet tooth in just 7 days. It's time to stop fighting your body and start leading it. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to hit the like button, be sure to subscribe or follow, and we'll see you in the next one.